Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? What up, what up? It's your girl, Audie, getting at you guys with another Audie's Art Struggles podcast. Today is July 24th, 2024. And what the hell is going on, everyone? Tell me what's going on because Audie's struggling right now. Big surprise for the Art Struggles podcast. So man, I need a break. I'm sitting here chilling on the couch and I finally feel like I got the temperature right where I need it to be. It's been like 108 degrees here in Arizona. Not quite checking, but the last I saw was 108. And I've been freezing in 108. If you guys checked out the organizing my workspace episode, if you guys didn't hear that one, check it out. I'll post it in the description. But I've been keeping my house an icebox, and I just been having the chills. Like it's weird. I don't feel any like illness type symptoms, right? I haven't been feeling anything like that. I've just been having the chills. But I've been waking up pretty early, and it had some benefits. Like I would go to the gym and like work out really early in the morning. I would watch the sun come up and allow the sun raises to bless me, before I went into the gym. But being tired and sleepy is going to make you freeze to death, right? So, um, yeah, if you're constantly cold, you probably didn't get enough sleep. So I'm just rolling with that, right? So, um, I don't know what temp it is right now. Let's have a look see what the temperature is right now. Let's see. The time right now is 2:18 p.m. It was 107 at 12:41 p.m. So let's refresh. And right now it says it is 109. Of course, I have the AC going. I don't have the fan on, not yet anyway. Sometimes when I start painting, I just get so tight and tense and focused where I start sweating. And us women, you all know about the boob sweat. So it's almost like, okay, I need to have the fan on. But having a fan on and being sleepy and tired, yeah, it's not, I'm freezing. I'm freezing. But anyhow, let's move away from that. So, there has been a few art struggles, and let me tell you guys something. I don't mean to sound negative, right? I know on the Y Run podcast, I do very much so sound negative, but touching on today's modern society, social media, and people's shitty ass human behavior, it's gonna do that to you. You know what I mean? And I'm one of those people that being an artist, you pay attention to detail. So you know when you combine these things, right, like you're just an angry person. And I know that artists is we're already stubborn as fuck, so being out in the social world, it is quite is stressful. It doesn't help with our art. That's why we do art, right? But um I don't want the podcast to come off as like I'm always having art struggles, right? um I do a lot of steady work. I'm not one of those painters or artists that they just slap and throw the paint on the canvas. I'm not that type of artist. I'm afraid to do that kind of art. Abstract art, I suck at it. Splashing art, throwing splashing art, splashing paint, throwing paint, flinging the paint. I'm scared to do because first of all, like, who wants to waste paint? You know what I mean? Um, and sometimes I don't think that's art. And that's just my opinion. If that's the kind of art that you do, no offense, but for me, sometimes it's hard for me to see it. And of course, in the beginning stages, it's not anything yet, but as it comes together and the artist is working on it, it's like, oh, okay, I could kind of see that. I'm not a patient artist, even though my art style is it's steady work. I don't just paint a line and call it a line. My lines on the ornaments, on my large scale canvas paintings, it has to be neat, and I have reasons for that, and there's spiritual and cultural reasons why they need to be painted that way, but we're not going to get into that. But I don't want the podcast to come off like I'm just this angry person, like, all these art struggles, Sure, we come across things which I'm going to be discussing with you guys. It may not be a big deal for you if you're just that messy kind of artist, you just go to town and you could just wave your brush around like a wand and then just something magically appears. I can't paint like that with the ornaments. So we're gonna tackle those today. So last night I started working on the ogre kachina ornament. I will post links of all the ornaments that I'm working on currently right now. And yeah, so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So I'm working on the ogre kachina, and he wears like a buckskin shawl that's tied around him, and you'll see in the photo. And I purchased this blick paint in a tube. um and I've never this was the first blick paint tube that I ever purchased. I didn't know the texture. I didn't know how opaque it would be or more transparent. I simply just purchased it for the color that I needed, right? I was at Blick and I was like, you know what? I need that color. I'll just go ahead and snag it. And I purchased it for my large scale canvases. And I worked with it seemed like it was okay, but it does have a very sticky sheen to it. But see, I painted with that tube of paint, a few months ago. Now that I'm working and using that same tube of Blick paint on the ogre kachina ornament, it has really bad texture. And in the previous episode where I have experimented with heavy body acrylic, the additive fluid, and the gesso, the clear gesso, I thought I could fix that problem with the Blick paint, and it did not work. It still has the same sticky feel. It's his buckskin is it looks awful to me, and I'm actually thinking about redoing it, which means I would have to sand it off. And I'm wondering if I could not do that, but I need these ornaments to be perfect They have to be perfect. They can't be half-assed. And that's a cultural thing. It's the respect of the entity. So, I'm looking around like, okay, I need sandpaper. I'm looking around, looking at my emery boards for my fingernails. I'm looking at, the file blocks that I have, and I'm just thinking like, man, I really don't want to do this, but I have to consider it. So I haven't made a choice yet, but I tried many solutions, like, watering down the paint just with plain water, and it didn't do shit either. So I'm like, okay, it thinned it down, but you could still see the texture of the brush strokes. So yeah, anyhow, and in the organizing my workspace episode, yeah, organizing just kind of went wrong. Like, all what we were doing, just like on the TV show Hoarders, like, we're basically just rotating the things around our space, whether it's your work bench, your work space table, in your living room, even in your bedroom. Like, you think that you're cleaning, but you're supposed to be taking things out, you're supposed to be throwing things away, but instead you're just picking up stuff and rotating it. Yeah, you're throwing out the trash, but you're still rotating things. And that's, not last night, but the other night, my desk started to look clean, but it was like, okay, I'm going to get back to work. And it just went right back to what it was before. So, yeah. And it's terrible, but that's just how a work table, workstation, workbench ends up looking like. And it's like, okay, like, it can look like this, but it needs to be better organized. Like, there's some things that I could take away from the table and put back onto another table. See, I'm just rotating. But there's like a mug full of markers that, I'm not using markers. I don't use markers on the ornaments. I use markers for, like, my planner, my calendar, or just to jot things down in bold, dark bold letters, like my notes that I'm writing, so I could see it. um that could go back into my art studio, like, just kind of getting things out in a way, like, okay, you know what, you're not using this doesn't belong here. There's ornaments that I started, it's almost like if I'm painting the color red at the moment, I'll start to pull ornaments that need red right away. Excuse me. So it's like I'm trying to, slowly ease my way into starting other ornaments by using the same color that I'm currently using. So, but those ones, I've already put the paint down on it, and it's like, okay, well, I could go ahead and, put this, I could just store this away until I'm ready to pull it out again. So yeah, I'm rotating things, from my studio, from my computer desk, and my living room, and I'm also rotating the ornaments as well. So yeah, that's kind of um I don't even want to say it's stressful, but they have to, things have to keep moving, and stay organized, because it's almost like if something's not organized, I feel like, okay, here's a look into my crazy ass brain. Okay. And let's see, touch ups. Oh my god. Remember how I was telling you guys that I've just been so tired? Well, I'm painting into the night. Like, sometimes I paint like until 11 o'clock, until my husband's telling me to go to bed. But I don't realize how tired I am. That when I wake up in the morning and when I pick up the ornaments, I'm like, oh my gosh, this line is not straight. So basically, I've been doing a lot of touch ups. Like, I'm seeing spots that, you know, uh, they're not. painted. Like I'm missing a lot of, I'm just missing a lot of spots. Like, how when someone says, "Oh, you missed a spot," like, yeah, like I've been missing a lot of spots. So it's just a lot of touch ups. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like, are you serious? Like, you really don't have time to go back and fix it. Like, you shouldn't. Like, it should be done in the first swipe. We would love to be those kind of artists that, we're just happy with the one swipe that we do with the brush, and it's just like magically perfect. Um, but I would like to say that, yeah, my lines are pretty straight, which I'm quite proud of. But when you're tired, you think it's good. But again, like I said, when I go back the next day in the morning time, I'm like, oh my God, now you have to correct it. Now you have to, go back in and, for me, my color palette is, like it's not that large, but it's having to bring the paints back out. And instead of squeezing it out of the tube, it's like you just take the cap off and you just take a dab. And so that's okay. It's just a lot of going back and forth with the same brush, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like I shouldn't be having to do this right now. But if you're an artist, you get it. So let's see what else. um did I mention this in the beginning? Um, yeah, I did. I talked about the heavy body, and the additive fluid and the clear gesso. Um, it's good, but I think it could be better. I still have to mess around with it, and it does glide on quite smoothly. But I think adding a little bit more fluid, because it is very much like water, and I'm trying to prevent using water. I just want to pour it out of the container and just dip and go. You know what I'm saying? Without having to use water to really get it how I need it. But um because it almost kind of defeats the purpose of purchasing and using gesso and the additive. So it's like, okay, well, then just might as well just go back to using water. That's how I've always done it before. I actually watched a TikTok. Yes, I got influenced by TikTok, and I gave it a try. I gave it a try. People were asking like, "Yo, like, what kind of paint is that? How do you get it? How do you get the glide of paint to go so far without having to redip into the paint?" And for me, it's loading the brush up. It's like completely saturating and building up a whole bunch of paint onto your brush. That way, when you go, it's like you have a lot more paint that's going to hang onto the brush as you're going. But the person, and sometimes, artists and I get this because I'm the same way. It's giving out free information. It's giving out your tips and your own tricks. Um, your style. But people were pestering that these artists, they kind of give out vague information, and that's what's frustrating. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I got to give them a little bit of grace, because this is how I feel too. When people ask me like, oh, how do you do it, what's your secret? And just, I ain't telling you shit, because I've had people steal my works before. But um but the guy was like, oh, all I did was add clear gesso to the paint, just mixed it really well. And I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But like, how what's the texture of the gesso? Because I know white gesso, it it's too matte, almost like chalk, almost. If you ever prep your canvas, sometimes people just put a wash of the white gesso and they already start painting. But it's because they want to keep that texture that adds to already a textured canvas. So, sometimes, artists, especially ones that are oil painters, sometimes they'll sand the gesso after it dries. So I've known gesso to be like that. And I was like, wouldn't it drag the paint though? Because when he said, "Oh, I just add clear gesso," I was like, I don't know about that. That's why a few episodes ago when I discovered the additive fluid, I was like, oh, well, if it has the same, uh, I guess that it's almost like water, and I use water to really, really thin down my paint. So I was like, okay, well, then this might work. I'll give it a try. But I thought, since I did add the clear gesso to the paint first, it was quite good. But I did still have to use water to get that, that glide. With the fluid, it's like water, but it just dries like regular paint, acrylic paint. And if you don't know acrylic paint, it dries pretty quick. Um, there's really no time for blending. But anyway, so yeah, I think it can be, tinkered with. It can be experimented with a lot more. But if I really, really feel like it's not doing shit, like, okay, so I'm using this concoction for the ornaments. I would love to put it and try it on a canvas, because again, if it's not getting me, to see and feel on small projects, how is that going to be good or easier for me on a large piece? And I'm still gonna try it, but if I feel like it's really not benefiting anything, and it's just the same as just adding water to the paint, just plain old water, nothing else, then it's like, okay, I might have to toss the gesso and the additive out the window. Um, but I'm not that kind of artist that just that's gonna go all out wasting product, um for the fuck of it, because I'm not that kind of artist. I'm very steady and precise with my works. So yeah, I guess that is it for this episode. I just um yeah, I just let it all out. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update on that, on everything. Um, and right now, I'm currently working on the ogre kachina, the corn maiden kachina, and the bear kachina, the brown bear. And I've been working on him for weeks. I don't know what it is. He is. I mean, all of the ornaments, they are entities, and the bear, I think he just wants to play and just enjoy just being out, and he doesn't want to get ready, and I'm trying to get them ready by painting all of the things that they need to continue to teach the world and bless people's homes. So I'm just trying to get him ready, and he's just enjoying himself by causing a lot of mischief, just running away from me right as I'm trying to pick him up to paint him. He's just like, no, not today. So but anyways, thank you guys so much for pressing play. Don't forget to add, rate, comment, subscribe, follow, and share. And I will talk to you guys in the next Art Struggles podcast.